First of all, I gotta tell you, I played Path of Exile 1 at least a lot, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be good at Path of Exile 2. I'm trying out myself, and I gathered as much info as possible related to Mercenary Witchhunter. Anyways, I played like 12 leagues and I played like 2,000 or 3,000 hours. I'm just saying I'm not total newbie. I'm just saying I'm a noob who has thousands of hours. Anyways, let's get into it. So why I'm making a deep delve dive passive skill tree is that I know it might change, but passive skill tree is the only thing that you can control without RNG. It's the free points that you can get as much as you play the game. It's just like time in your life. Everybody gets time in their life, right? But how you use it depends what kind of life you get. So passive skill points are like that. It's really important to understand how you're going to spend the passive points effectively. One of the biggest things that you done in Path of Exile 1 was optimizing skill points eventually. Anyways, there's a respec by gold too, so it's gonna be a lot more flexible, but still I want to like cover as much as possible. While studying myself, I wanted to show you guys this. If you guys want to see more about the Merc related stuff, I want to cover like skills and the skill animations and etc. But Ziggy D's video was the GOAT. In my opinion, I checked so many videos about Mercenary Witchhunter, but that one was the best, at least for the starting of the whole early access. After watching that video, I realized Mercenary is a character which has a lot of utility, which has stun, freeze, shock, and the range also. Reload your bolts and grenades before you do a big encounter such as boss so you can prepare yourself, which is kind of similar to the miners or trappers, which I played a lot. Especially if you use the grenades, it's gonna feel a lot like a trapper or miner. You gotta check out that video too, but I'm gonna go one by one more deep into the details of passive skill nodes while showing what my plan is and why I'm choosing these passive skill nodes. Anyway, there's a good UI that somebody added, PoE tree. He has added a pretty good tree, but at the same time, old tree I think, because it's missing some of the nodes that on the mercenary side are missing, or even that might change. Anyways, I'm trying to do my first act 1 to 3 build-ups. How I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do mercenary, grenade launcher, and crossbow build. First of all, what I was surprised was there's not much maximum life. The maximum life nodes are nowhere near mercenary. It is a little bit scary. Anyways, I build until level 45, thinking that there won't be a skill book. I think there's gonna be a skill book. I guess that's a famous PoE creator. I think this is the most recent build that you can find for the passive skills. I'll show you guys one by one what I'm planning to do. Mercenary, you start from here on the middle bottom. So this part, according to multiple videos I've checked, oh yeah, and level 45 is exactly when Act 1 to 3 ends. So I think after that you can like proceed on expanding the nodes, and I will talk about like what kind of nodes we can expand to. There's a lot of interesting nodes that we got. I'm gonna focus on damage like soft cores can do. Soft cores, the maximum advantage is always that your life is infinite. I know the pinnacle bosses or the mapping keystones won't be infinite usage, it's gonna be one portal. But anyways, for the act, I think 1 to 45, focusing on damage is usually the best in my opinion, and give like a minimum health defenses to push through the act and progress and get better gear, level up faster. I think that's the best in softcore players. I'm not a hardcore player. Anyways, first of all, here is projectile damage. So we start from there. The other side is armor and evasion rating, but as I said, I'm going to focus on damage first. Next up, this part is also projectile damage, but I'm just gonna move to the attack speed because attack speed, higher the better, it feels better, and it does also more damage because you hit faster. 3% attack speed, projectile damage again on that node. And this last node, the big node, so what I try to focus on, and every passive skill tree tries to do, is grab the big nodes that you need with the shortest distance, the best efficiency as much as possible, except if it's not like stacking, or usually it's grabbing the big nodes anyways to save the passive skill points, get stronger quicker. Anyways, that one is remorseless. 50% increased projectile damage, 30% increased stun buildup against enemies within 2 meters. So you gotta get close even though you're a projectile damage dealer. Plus 5 to strength and dexterity. And then for some defense, I'll go to the middle, which is armor and evasion rating, 20% increase and 20% increased stun threshold. And it seems like there's a lot of stun threshold related nodes, which I'm kind of worried that stuns are gonna happen a lot to the character. You don't have really info on this side. Oh well, actually we do thanks to GGD. Ricochet, 20% increased projectile damage, and projectiles have 20% chance to chain and additional time from terrain. Really nice, we can get a chain already in a pretty early passive nodes. If there's a wall, it will ricochet back. It's quite straightforward, and also a big chunk of increased projectile damage. The projectiles are gonna be all for grenade and the bolts for the mercenary anyways. Of course, the other one is also nice too, the other big node. Increased area of effect and 10% increase cooldown CDR. I think going this way would be not bad too. But I focused on this side because it's gonna be definitely projectile damage. And then I will be moving just downwards because this one is related to the weapon swap, 50% speed, clear space, 20% increased knockback distance, 20% chance to knock enemies back with hits at close range. This is also like kind of defensive mechanic. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of things I need to do to weapon swap on mercenary. Basically he uses crossbow and that's it. I'm pretty sure you can use melee and a shield. You guys can try that, but I think it needs to be studied a lot more, so I'm not gonna focus that on the really early stage of the game. And as you guys can see, this is just two-handed and this is dual wield related nodes, so I'm just gonna pass through and then grab these two important nodes, which is grenade skills, fire additional projectile. Always super nice if you're playing projectile build, the more AoE and more damage dealt. And grenade skills have +1 cooldown use. Get to throw grenades one more time. Super nice to grab, so we're gonna go around like that. Those are the really important nodes, should I say, that I need to start grabbing. And this part is gonna be really help you with mapping. 4% increased movement speed if you killed it recently, and then 8% increased attack speed if you killed it recently. It's not gonna help you with bossing, but I think it's worth grabbing. And this one is a 10% increased attack damage, and then gain accuracy rating equal to your strength, which is I think pretty nice. If I have a problem with accuracy, I might be grabbing that. It's considerable, but I won't be grabbing normally. And then I'm gonna go down and grab the most important two nodes again, which is not shown in here sadly. So basically those two are instant reload, which is 40% increased crossbow reload speed. Super nice, especially the reloading is the most down thing that I have in this game, in this character. And also the grenade duration. The grenade just rolling around without doing damage for like 2.5 seconds is super depressing for me, so I'm gonna grab that. So basically you're gonna shoot bolts and throw grenades. That's the basic concept of the mercenary, and reducing that time is gonna be the higher DPS. Grab those two as quick as possible. And then if you go down here, this is gonna be a CDR. It's 10% increased CDR, and then enemies in your presence have 10% reduced cooldown recovery rate, which is pretty interesting. And go all the way down. I'm kind of thinking of grabbing this. That's gonna be a projectile. Projectiles, the piercing enemy is gonna be a really important mechanic. 30% chance to chain and additional time from terrain. Wow, I mean it has chain too. Looks really nice. But anyways, before that, I think these are more important, these two. And then grab these nodes, which is grenade has 20% chance to activate second time. It's similar to trapper or miners, just double the damage with 20% chance without any downs. And then the last one is 25% chance for crossbow attacks to not consume a bolt. So you don't have to reload as much as before. That's gonna just save you just full autoing your bolts more and more and more. This node, I don't really think we can grab it until like the end game happens. Critical strikes are usually happens on end game. On early stage, it's always good to just sacrifice the critical strike, focus on non-critical strike damages. So yeah, those are the ones like I will grab until level 45. And then after that, the really worst ones are already all the way here. This one is really nice too. Unaffected by enemy ground effect for 1 second after stepping on them. I think this is pretty big. One of the biggest reason why you die, random ground effect has been one of the biggest thing in Path of Exile 1 for me personally, especially like the chaos damages or just random like pure damage that goes through your resistances. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like that. Also, these parts are really worth getting in, especially if you're bossing a lot. 25% increased damage with the hits against the rare or unique enemies, 20% increased accuracy rating, and then 20% increased chance to inflict ailments against the rare or unique enemies. Really nice. And also Curling Strike threshold. I'm definitely gonna go for Curling Strike build, but I think, is that worth it? Is it gonna be that effective? But 30% on normal Curling Strike on 30% health become 37.5%, almost 40%. It might be worth it. I'm gonna test it out, but I'm not really sure about that node. It hasn't been in the Path of Exile 1 before. This node looks interesting too. 2% increase attack speed per enemy in close range. Whenever you're like crowded while you're mapping, you're gonna have a lot of attack speed, which would be pretty nice, but it takes up like 4 nodes after that. Considerable. It depends on like how much damage you're doing, how fast you're clearing the map, how fast you're killing the bosses, how quick you're dying from the ground effects. So yeah, those are the ones you can grab around the end side of the how much I leveled up. And also this one is interesting too. Elemental Equilibrium. Increase, like multitasking looks great, but at the same time it's gonna be downwards for the grenade launchers. 50% increase skill effect duration, then it's gonna take longer for grenade to explode. 12% increased cooldown CDR, which looks nice, but I don't think I'm gonna grab that one. That one is almost a must. Attack damage penetrates 15% of enemy elemental resistances. That one looks almost must. 40% increased elemental damage with attack skills during any flask effect. Cause skills from Mercenary looks like it's all converted to fire or cold or lightning. It's all like that. Okay, yeah, they're not that. These are the only nodes for the elemental resistance pen. 30% increase to ignite, freeze buildup, chance to shock, electrocute buildup. I can move on to the side and then grab these ones. It depends on like how many resistance they have. I think you can grab almost everything on this one. But anyways, those nodes look good. I didn't realize those. This one is good, but it's like too far away to reach. I think it's too far. Pinpoint shot. Attacks gain increased accuracy rating equal to their critical hit chance. Well, that's a game for critical hit chance. For later build, you're gonna have to start from non-crit to crit later. It usually, the starter builds are always like that. 25% chance to projectiles to pierce enemies within 3 meters distance to you. I think if you use this one and this one, it's gonna be great. Depending on what this is, we're gonna have to go here. Piercing bunch of enemies would be nice with the clustered enemies. That's actually pretty nice. Yeah, I hope this helps to plan your builds a little bit. For at least for the Mercenary Witchhunter build. I saw some gameplays from like 2024 November gameplay, but wow, it looks a little bit clunky, especially because of the reload or the grenades, but I still think it's very powerful, especially the Ascendancy nodes, and then it's really interesting gameplay that you will never see in Tarkov main content creator. So guns, you know. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like these kind of contents, please leave a like, and also if you want to check me out on live stream, check out Twitch and YouTube stream, especially on December 6th, and I'll see you in the next video.